today. Here we go.
What up, bro?
Here we go. My guy. Thank you so
What's
much.
going on? Can you hear me? I can barely hear you for some reason.
I can hear you great. I can hear you good.
Good. What's up, man? Yeah, we've been having all kinds of internet issues today. It's like something's going on around the world.
Dude, yeah. I think the whole hurricane thing's messing up some stuff. I know we've had some stuff with the Wi-Fi around town, man, for sure. But so excited to have you here, man. Mr. 800% in the building.
You know, that's how we do.
800%.
Hey, thanks for having me out for your event, man. That was an incredible event you put together.
Bro, let's put it this way, okay? You were so amazing up in that stage that I had people bumping into you on purpose to strike a conversation. I was walking, and then some people came up to me, and they're like, oh, I bumped into him on purpose to try to strike up a conversation. I'm like, yeah, let me go and introduce you. Like, you don't have to bump into people like on accident on purpose. Accidental bump on purpose.
Yeah, I was like, yeah, she tripped over a cord or something, and she was like, oh, and I'm like, oh, are you okay? She's like, yeah, I'm good.
Oh my God.
That's crazy, man. That's crazy. No, I'm glad we were able to make an impact, man. It's all about trying to make an impact, and if we can impact just one, then it was a job well done, right?
Absolutely, man. For those people joining, I appreciate all the comments. Feel free to hit the heart button. Feel free to throw some shark emojis up in here. We want to get some momentum going. But I want to start from the beginning, man. For those people that are joining the live here that do not know who Mr. Glenn Lundy is, because at one point I didn't know either, and now I've read your book like 3 fucking times. Right? So I know there's people in my live right now who are like, who's Glenn Lundy? What's going on? I didn't go to the event. What's happening? And it's rare that I do these lives myself too. I have a team dedicated for going on the lives, and they're always interviewing people and doing the whole thing. But I was like, for this live, I'm doing the fucking. I'm like, I want to be the one speaking to Glenn, because even this morning I was listening to the book again, man. I listened to the whole book this morning again for a 3rd time.
That's awesome, man.
My God, Priscilla saying literally had me in tears. Ooh, my God, look at this. Look at all these amazing hearts out here for my guy Glenn.
I love it, man. I love it.
It's definitely an honor to have you here, man. But I think it's good for us to start a little bit from the beginning. Who is Glenn Lundy? Just give us a quick introduction, and we'll take it from there, man. I'm prepared. I did my fucking homework, bro. I did my homework.
No, man. I'm just a guy who's lived, multiple seasons in life, but two real big seasons. And I've got one season of my life where I was living what I call a 2D existence, man. Mind and body. If it looked good and it felt good, the answer was yes. And I spent a season of my life with that mentality, very Darwinistic approach on life. And now I have a season of my life that I call a 3D, which is mind, body, and spirit. And so if it looks good and it feels good and it is good, then the answer is yes, right? And that was a big shift for me. Before I used to take advantage of a lot of people and just very, very selfish in all of my actions. And that led me to being in and out of jail 17 times. It led me to homelessness. It led me to depression, suicidal thoughts, suicide attempt. It left me alone and invisible. And when I shifted from a mind-body experience to a mind, body, and spirit, right? Mind, body, soul. Once I shifted to that and started taking the focus off of me to where I could serve others, man, dude, it's literally pulled me to a place now where, I got a beautiful wife. I've got 8 babies. I live in a beautiful home on some beautiful land out here in Kentucky. I've got 2 companies that are doing really well, a team of people that I get to serve every single day, and I get to travel around the world and meet people like yourself and be able to speak on incredible stages and pour into humans. It's crazy, man. So it's really just a story of two seasons, man. A 2D life versus a 3D life, and I'm a huge fan of the 3D life, bro.
Hell yeah, man. So, for the people that have read your book, man, you start off and you get right to the point. You don't sugarcoat it. Hey, man, I had a rough childhood. I thought everybody was wrong except me. You were the common denominator in all these situations that were happening around you. You even came to the point to where you try to drown yourself, man, over there in La Jolla. And, the God wanted something bigger for you, man. Like anybody else would have probably been dead. And he pulled you back out and he said, no, you don't, man. No, you don't. You
Yeah,
have to go to the Wholesale Sharks event. What are you doing?
that's right, man. That's right. He knew the wholesale shark event was waiting on me 15 years later. So
Come on
he had
now.
to. That's
Not
right. That's
today.
right.
Not today, man. From that point on, you decided to turn everything around, man. Now you go around the country speaking at these big events, speaking to multi-billion-dollar organizations, helping them grow their processes. I mean, tell me a little bit about that. How insane is that, man? For those people that don't know, like how we linked up, I saw you in a jet with Grant Cardone, and I was just like, just swiping, just clicking and shit, and then I see Grant Cardone, and you were tagged in there, and then I see you in the bag just chilling, and I'm like, okay, I know who Grant Cardone is. I want to know who the guy sitting next to Grant Cardone is, because that guy has to be a beast. Grant Cardone's not going to be in a fucking jet just with nobody. This guy has to be like an insane superhuman to be able to earn the space around Grant. So then I fanboyed. I'm like, let me see who this guy is. I started looking into it. I saw your book. I bought the book, and I started stalking you a little bit more. About a year of stalking. We finally were able to make it happen, man. You were too expensive for our event. You're like, I got a hold of your assistant. We couldn't make it happen. I'm like, dude, this event is free, man. Like, I'm not even charging anything. And I was like, how can we make this happen? After a while, I went around your assistants and I contacted you directly. And you were like, sure, man, let's make it happen. Next thing you know, you're flying to Arizona and your assistant doesn't even know about it.
Right. That's right.
So we went around the person in charge of booking the dates, and all of a sudden she's messaging us. She's like, is Grant going to your event? I'm like, oh, yeah, I think we... Oh, my God.
Every once
She's
in a
like,
while, man.
she's
Every
like,
once in a while, I do
she's
that.
like,
She's not happy about it, but we'll
she's
do
like,
it every once in a while.
Is Glenn going to your event? And we're like, yeah, let me see. She's like, I think he already booked his own room. He booked his own flight. He's doing everything. I'm like, oh my God, let's coordinate some of that for him. But oh my God, dude, it's definitely. I think things are meant to be, man. Like you came out here, you were in Flagstaff. How did that go? Not only did we not pay you to be here, your crazy 5-figure fee, but now we're in debt. Like we owe you an extra 30K. Can you talk more about that?
That's right, man. Yeah, you owe me 30K on top. And my daughter lives in Flagstaff, my oldest daughter, and so I went up to visit her while I was in Arizona, and she had some problems, right? She had some problems that she's got going on in her life, some financial issues, job issues, broken foot issues, all kinds of issues, and I figured out, man, that I could solve. Literally, we could like in an instant solve all of her problems if we could just get her a new vehicle. So I went and hit up my boy Scott Baugh, which, by the way, those of you in Arizona, go see Scott Baugh at Planet CDJR up in Flagstaff. He'll take care of you. And went and saw my boy Scott Baugh, and $30,000 later, I was on my way down to speak at your event. So
Oh,
you owe me 30K for the car. You owe me for the fee that you didn't, that I didn't charge. Here's what
uh,
you owe me, man. Just take it
oh,
all and go out there and freaking change somebody's life, and we'll call it even, man.
man, we started doing that right away, man. Up until today, I still keep getting messages, man. Like, oh my God, my guy Glenn, blah, like it was amazing, this and that. You brought down the house, man, and I mean, it's just so good to hear. how you've been able to change your life, you know, from going to that point where a lot of people currently are. There's a lot of people right now in your situation. You know, you started, you were in Vegas at one point playing cards for a living, man. Like, what was that like? Because
Oh
I'm
my
a
gosh.
huge poker player. I don't win usually ever, but you know, I'm interested in that. You know.
You know, there was a lot of glamour to that. You know, there's a lot of glamour to the to the poker world. And I was always obsessed growing. I grew up in Flagstaff, and I was always obsessed with casinos and Vegas and all of that. Man, I used to draw roulette wheels when I was in middle school, and studied all the math and the odds and the probability, learning how to count cards, you know, all those things. That was my thing. I wanted to be a pit boss. I wanted to play basketball at UNLV. Like, I had these big visions and dreams of living in Vegas. And after some things went awry in Flagstaff, Arizona, I lost custody of my daughter. Uh, I decided, you know, I had kind of gotten into the game of poker. I was like, I'm just going to do this. I'm going to do this for a while. And so I did it for a little while. I was able to survive off it for a little while, but ultimately ended up in the wrong place, man. Because when you eat breakfast, lunch, and dinner in a casino, bro, here's what's crazy is all of your friends, when you live in a casino like I did, all of your friends will take your last dollar and tell you sorry and let you starve. Like, that's just how it is, right? Like, if you lose all your money on the poker table and you're freaking starving, the dude that took it from you might be your boy. Like, you guys play cards all the time, you hang out all the time. But, bro, he's going to be like, sorry about your luck, man. You lost it. That's the way the cards fall, right? So those relationships are so surface level. And but ultimately, I'm so thankful for that season, because everything I learned in that casino, when I moved to Kentucky, I started thinking, okay, so I love poker and I love the camaraderie of it. I love the game. How can I play poker without risking losing any money? How can I do that? Right. And so I started thinking outside of the box, and I was like, well, the house always wins, right? Because the house is always taking a rake. And so I started looking at it, and I was in Kentucky, and I was like, well, legally we can't play poker. So I can't like run a poker game and do a rake. That's not going to work. But what can I do? And what I figured out is I can run free poker tournaments at bars and restaurants all over the state, and the bar owner will pay me because I'll bring people in. Now, there's no gambling. It's just like a league, like a dart league or a
Yeah.
bowling league or
Yeah.
anything else. Karaoke, live band, right? These
Yep.
bars pay. They pay to have an attraction to bring people into the bar, and then the people spend money at the bar. So I put together a free poker league. It was called Kentucky Blue Poker Crew, and that's how I made a living for the first couple of years that I lived here in Kentucky. And that's where I met my wife. She was a bartender at one of the bars, and met my wife. So playing that game in the casino was not the smartest financially, but ultimately it gave me some wisdom and knowledge that I could use to make a smarter decision later in life that got me where I am today. So I'm grateful for that season, man.
Man, that's definitely something, man. I know when I was 21, I'm like, the dream of every young poker player is to go to Vegas, you know, and try to grind it out, the movie Grinders, and
Oh yeah.
so I was gonna ask you, man, how did you make the change from poker to like the automotive industry? How did that happen?
So I was actually in auto before. I was in auto at the Nissan store in Flagstaff. Then when I lost custody of my daughter, I moved, and that's when I played poker for a little while. Then came to Kentucky, tried to avoid getting back into the auto industry because it had a really bad taste. I had a really bad taste in my mouth for the auto industry. So I tried to avoid it, ran the free poker league for a little while, and then met my wife. And when she got pregnant with our first, my wife was like this, bro. She was like, hey, you know, that thing where you hang out in the bars until like 3 o'clock in the morning, that shit ain't gonna work no more. She was like,
Oh
no, we got a baby. I am not sitting at the house with a baby while you're out messing around, gallivanting around playing poker till 3 in the morning.
my
She's like,
God.
you need to grow up and get a real job. And I was like, okay, well, the only thing I really knew how to do was sell cars, because I had done that for so many years in Flagstaff. And so I found a dealership in my wife's hometown, so that her mom could help with the baby, and started working at this dealership. But I went in with a different mindset this time. The, the dealership before had affected my life in a negative way. And so I made a decision that I wasn't going to allow the dealership to affect me negatively. Instead, I was going to affect the industry positively. I was going to go out and make an impact in other people's lives in the auto industry. And that was the intention going in. And with that intention, the store that I was working at was selling 120 cars a month. We were able to grow it to make it the second largest used car franchise dealership in America. We grew 800%
800%.
in just under
Where it comes
6
from.
years. And yes, the rest is history. Since then, I left there in 18, and now I've been helping owners and general managers, car dealerships all over North America ever since, man. It's wild, crazy.
That's incredible, man. How did you get Grant Cardone on your stage? I know that was an interesting story. I know we are talking
Well,
about that during the event.
Grant comes from the auto industry, and so I've always studied Grant Cardone tape, so on and so forth. We've passed each other by in many occasions over decades since I was 19 years old. But ultimately, I kept asking Grant to speak on his stage, and
Yeah.
he would never let me speak on his stage. And so I just kept thinking, most people take rejection one way. I take rejection as a challenge. I'm like, all right, he won't let me on his stage. That means I'm not making a big enough splash. I'm not getting enough attention, to get on his stage. So we've been building more on social media and personal branding and getting involved in more and more things. And ultimately, his and I's relationship grew on Clubhouse. When Clubhouse came out, him and I would hang out in Clubhouse rooms every day, just talking. And fast forward, I was having this big event in Lexington, Kentucky, and freaking Grant Cardone texted me at 8 o'clock in the morning, man. He's like, pick me up at the airport at 11:30.
No.
I'm like, what? This is day 2 of my event. He's like, pick me up at the airport at 11:30. I'm like, okay, what airport? He tells me the airport, and I'm sitting there going, my first thought is like, well, who am I going to send to pick him up? Because I'm running an event. I'm supposed to be on stage. And then I'm like, I ain't sending nobody to pick him up. I'm picking him up. So now we got to pivot on the event. I was supposed to do an interview. I had somebody else do the interview. And I left and went and picked him up at the airport, brought him back in. And, when we brought him in, what's up? I see y'all talking down there. When we brought him in, he was kind enough to bless the stage. I interviewed him on stage for like an hour at my event, and afterwards he went out in the hall and took pictures and was throwing footballs with my kids and so on and so forth. And it was really a special moment. And check this out, though. Check this out. See, one thing I've learned, Ramon, core values is everything, right? You got to stick to your core values. And having this guy that I'm really, he's mentored me, coached me for a long time. Having him there was a big deal. Everyone knew it was a big deal. I mean, my son's middle name is Grant, over Grant Cardone. So like, my wife knew it was a big deal. My family knew it was a big deal. So Grant's there. He's got to get back to his plane after he gets done talking. I'm walking him out of the place. I'm about to drive him. I'm about to drive him back to his plane, and I get a call, and they say, Glenn, your son is getting ready to go on stage. So my son had decided he wanted to sing at my event. He wanted to sing a song. And so they were like, your son's going on stage. Where are you? And I'm like, well, I'm about to go take Grant to the plane. And they're like, he's going up in like 5 minutes. And so I looked over at Grant and I said, Grant, thank you so much, sir. I really appreciate you coming out and supporting me. I'm going to have my assistant give you a ride back to the airport, but I got to go be there for my son. And Grant, of course, was like, yeah, man, freaking, go. And so Grant left. I ran back down. My son was coming out on stage. I grabbed a chair, pulled it right in front of the audience, and sat right there on the freaking front of the stage and watched my son freaking put it down, man. And I was blessed for that in many ways. There's a lot of people that came up to me after that event, and they were just like, we thought for sure that you would choose Grant over your son, because he's just such
My
a big
God.
deal. And they were like, to see you come in there and sit there, and it was a big deal. And so, a lesson for everybody watching, man, chasing down your idols is cool. Building a big stage to attract the attention, getting people to, if they won't let you on their stage, build your own stage. I think that's really, really important. But never, ever, 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 ever let your core values be swayed by anything on the outside, man. My kids and my wife will always come first, no matter what's
Oh,
going on.
my God, it's beautiful, man. And we think about it, you did choose Grant, right? Because, I mean, his middle name's Grant, right? So
Different son,
technically,
different son. You got to remember, I got 8 kids.
oh my God, this is not the Grant one.
No, this is Joe Bryant. This one's named after Kobe Bryant. I got one named after Kobe Bryant and one named after Grant Cardone.
My God, that's incredible, man. How did you end up in that plane with Grant Cardone? How were you in? Just
Man,
that's where
God
he
is
found
good,
you.
man. God is good. So I went to 10X. I went to 10X down in Miami, and what time is it anyway? I'm all over the place today. I went
It's like
to
1:30.
1:30. All right, I went to 10X Grant's event 10X, and then that Tuesday. So that event ended on a Sunday. I think it was Sunday. And then on Tuesday, I was speaking at an event in LA, NFT event.
Yeah.
And so I had planned on, after 10X on Sunday, I was going to go home. I was going to spend Monday with my family and then fly out Tuesday morning to go to Arizona.
Oh,
And that was the plan. I was sitting there getting ready to leave to go to 10X, and my daughter, bro, my 12-year-old daughter, she goes, "You know what, Dad?" I said, "What's that?" She said, "Sometimes when you leave and then you come home for just a day and you turn around and leave, sometimes that's harder on us than if you were to just stay gone."
wow.
And I was like, "Really?" She's like, "Yeah, you're gone for 4 days, you come home for a day, and even that one day you're
In a rush, you're
just
rushing,
doing
you're
things
still you're
around the
packing.
house or whatever, yeah,
Wow.
packing, and then you're gone." She's like, "Doesn't it make sense for you to just go and be gone and then come home and be home?"
Fully.
And so,
Yeah.
I was like, "Okay, honey, I'll take that advice." And so I changed my flight. Instead of coming home Sunday night, I changed my flight to leave Monday from Miami and fly straight to Arizona, or straight to California for the event. And so here I
Yep.
was now, Monday. I was in the hotel Monday, and I was packing to go to the airport, and I was on Clubhouse in my Breakfast with Champions room. And as I was talking, I was saying this. This is crazy, Ramon. I was talking, and I was telling everyone, "Hey, I'm packing right now to go to LA." And right as I said that, Grant Cardone popped into my room, and he heard me say, like, he'd literally been in the room 10 seconds. He heard me say, "I'm packing to go to LA." And he goes, "Oh, whoa, whoa, Glenn, when you going to LA?" I said, "Bro, I'm going today. Like, I'm speaking at this event." He goes, "What time?" Or he said, "How you getting there?" I said, "American Airlines, bro. What do you mean, how am I getting there? I got a flight at 11:30." And he goes, "Hey, why don't you cancel that flight? You can just fly with me. I'm going to LA today too." And
Oh my
I
God.
was like, "Are you for real?" He's like, "Yeah." 10 minutes later, his assistant was on the phone with me. She set everything up. I canceled my American Airlines flight, and me and Grant Cardone and Sabrina, it was just me, him, and his daughter, jumped on a plane out of Miami, flew 6 hours over to LA, got to hang out with them the whole time. It was
Oh
freaking awesome, man. It was
man, that's
just incredible. Like
incredible.
watching Mission Impossible with Tom Cruise.
That's insane, man. And I guess that goes to say a lot about where are you hanging out at? Are you in Netflix? Are you in this other group about cartoons and shit, like, or are you in the group where the big dogs hang out, where these things that might impact your life might occur? Like a lot of people don't get the blessings because they're not in the places where the blessings go down.
Proximity is power, bro. Proximity is power. And you also have to listen, man. Sometimes, we blow off our children. Our children are, I believe this whole process of life is a process of remembering. And it's remembering who we are and whose we are. And so the further we get from birth, the further we get from God. And the goal is to get back, right? To get back to God. And we go through this kind of journey as we forget where we've come from. And then as we get older, Hopefully, if you do things right, you start to remember, right? And so my kid at 12 is far more in tune. She's far more connected than I am at 44. You know, I have doubt, I have fear, I have anxiety, I have worry, I have concern, I have ego, I have all these things. My kids don't have none of that. They ain't worried about nothing. They ain't got no doubt, they got no concern, they got no worry, and they definitely got no ego. And so I listen, man. When my kids speak, I listen. So when my 12-year-old's like, Dad, you should just go through. Don't come home. My ego could have been, what, you don't want to see your dad for a day? Or I know what I'm doing. Stay out of my business, right? But nah, man, I'm like, yes, ma'am. Okay. I'll take that. I'll receive that. And if
Wow.
I wouldn't have done that, I wouldn't have been in Miami. I wouldn't have been on that plane. I never would have got that trip. So
Oh my God, that's
listen to your
incredible, man.
kids, man. They're connected, bro. They're connected.
That's insane, man. And hearing you talk about that, and the little time that you would have spent with them versus now this other thing that's happening, and I feel like it's all connected. When we were at the event last week, we had a chat. We were sitting there with Zach. Shout out to Zach. I think he's on this live as well. You were talking about ROI, ROI with your kids, ROI with everything. We're working out. You always give something, some sort of, you measure everything that you do. And you were telling me a little bit more about how it's not so much how much time you give something, because so you might give something a lot more time than you really needed to give it to get the maximum, return on your investment. Like, you talk to me a little bit more about that. That was interesting as hell, but I kept getting people fucking walk to me. Like, I was like trying to take that shit in and grab it, and I kept getting people walk up, and I was like, oh my God, this guy's dropping fucking bombs here about important life shit that are not in his book, and I have to go and fucking do the whole hey while I'm trying to be over here at the same time, man. Um, can you talk to me a little bit more about that, man? Because I know the people watching here are gonna be blown away by that concept. Right after that, I implemented some shit, man. I changed some shit into my gym stuff, into I started doing some tweaks based on what you were saying, by the little
Good.
amounts that I got from it because of all the things that were going on. Can you talk to me a little bit more about that? I thought that was interesting as hell, man.
Yeah, man, our words have energy and our words have power, right? And so what I learned a while ago, just being attentive, I noticed that whenever I was talking to someone about their business, they would always say, I'm going to invest in my business. Or when somebody was talking about the stock market, they'd say, I'm investing in stocks. Or when somebody was talking about self-development, going to a conference, anything like that, they'd say, I'm making an investment in myself, right? And their expectation was that they were going to get an ROI. Like, nobody invests in the stock market hoping to lose. Nobody invests in their business hoping to lose. Nobody invests in themselves hoping to lose. You always expect an ROI when you invest. Now, I'd listen to these same people, and I would say, what are you doing this weekend? They'd say, I'm going to spend time with my family. I'm going to spend time on vacation, right? I'm going to spend time doing things around the house. I'm like, or I'm going to spend time with my friends. I'm like, wait a minute, hold on. Let me make sure you understand this. Spend has a negative connotation. If I spend $5 out of my bank account, how much money do I got? $5 less every single time. There is no ROI when we spend. There's none. There's not even an expectation of an ROI. We actually expect it to be a deficit, right? Just by nature of the
Yep.
word itself. So when I realized this, I'm like, oh, wait a minute, hold up. We can do all the things. You can have 2 businesses, you can have 8 kids, you can travel around the world, you can speak everywhere, you can do whatever it is the heck that you want to do with your life, as long as you make sure every moment is an investment. Don't spend time scrolling on social media. Invest time on social media. Get a return from it. I invest a lot of time in social media. I invest a lot of time in social media. But guess what? I get an ROI for it. I gain followers. I gain email list. I gain impact. I'm able to get bigger reach. We get bigger audience. We meet more people like yourself, remote, right? So I expect an ROI, and therefore we make that investment. It's a fair investment. With my kids, my daughter Willow, she's like in your face, bro, all the time. Now. She's like, hey, dad, hey, dad, hey, dad, hey, dad, hey, dad. And if I'm like on the phone or whatever, I'm like, hold up, baby, hold up, baby, hold up, hold up, hold up. She will freaking hammer you. Whereas if you invest 2 minutes into Willow every day, like if I just look at Willow for 2 minutes and I'm like, hey, honey, I'm all yours. What's up, girl? What you doing? What you got going on? Right? Once I invest 2 minutes in her, she'll leave me alone all day, bro. Because she feels seen, heard, and significant. And to be honest with you, she don't want to hang out with their dad that much. She just wants to know that I see her, that I love her, etc. Right? Now, my son Joel requires a different time investment. My son Joel, in order to get a return, right, when I feel that he feels seen, heard, significant, and loved, in order for me to get a return from Joel, we invest time on the soccer field, we invest time, practicing, we invest time watching football together, right? All of those things. Oh, my friend Heather Parody just joined. She's one of my favorite people on the planet, bro. But in order to get an ROI from Joel, the time investment is more significant than the time investment with Willow, right? In order for my wife to feel seen, heard, and significant and loved, and for me to feel I'm getting an ROI from my wife, I gotta watch Friends for 30 minutes every night before I go to bed. That's her thing. We lay in bed, the other kids are gone to sleep. Now some people could say, oh, well, you're just spending time watching TV. Nah, bro. I'm investing in a show I don't even care about so that I can lay next to my wife for 30 stinking minutes because she feels seen, heard, and significant, and I get an ROI from it.
Wow.
So when it comes to all of the activities, when you start to look at every minute as an investment with an expectation of an ROI, when you do that, then you find that there's way more time, bro. There's way more time. Like, don't go spend time at the gym. That's negative. That's a deficit. Instead, invest time at the gym. Get a
Yeah.
return from it. Make sure
Love
you're
it.
freaking sweating. Make sure you're freaking sore. You can probably do more in 20 minutes than what most of y'all are doing in an hour and 10 minutes if you would just really invest it. So now you just saved 50 minutes because you made it an investment with an expectation of an ROI, right? When I go into a client, spend time with the client, or I'm sorry, not spend, when I am going to invest time with a client, it's very important. We set up 15-minute little meetings. Sometimes it's 5-minute little meetings. Sometimes whatever it's going to take to get an ROI. That's what matters. A lot of my clients are
Love
like,
it.
dude, you never even step foot in our store. I'm like, do you want me in your store or do you want a result? Which one do you want more? Because I can go in your store and we can hang out, we can go eat steaks and we can do all that stuff. It's not going to get you a result. Or do you want to spend 30 minutes together on a Zoom and I'll give you the answers that you need? Which do you prefer? Everybody will take the 30 minutes over the hanging out all day, right?
Yep.
So look at your business, look at your life. There's 7 main pillars, right? Faith, fitness, finances, friends, family, your career, and yourself. In those 7 areas, make sure that every minute is an investment, and you'll find that you have all the time you need to do everything you can possibly dream.
Permission to give anybody that's watching this live a copy of the book that I purchased directly from you, sir, through the website. Is that something we
Yeah,
could
of
do
course.
today for the people watching?
Yeah, of course, of course. They can just go to themorning5.com, download that. Yeah, absolutely, man. I
Boom.
appreciate you.
Or hit a DM. I got you too, man. I have it saved on there to my notes. So for sure, man.
Perfect.
So in that same regards, in terms of like ROI, you mentioned something amazing as well. We're talking about how sometimes we make purchases that we might feel are like not the smartest purchases based on our our experience with people's experiences. And I was talking about my house, how I purchased it, and I felt like it was a dumb investment. Like I shouldn't have done that. Maybe I should have stayed a little bit more within my means. But then it turned out to be a great investment because of the appreciation. I was buying my house as the wave was fucking going like this. So then it turned out to be a good decision. And then you pull out your phone. What did you show me, man? Tell my audience here. What did you show me on that phone that left me in shock that night?
I'll share this with you, then I got to pop off. But what I showed you is a investment in more time with my family. That's what I showed you.
Boom.
I showed you an investment in more time with my family. So Last week was a prime example. Last week I left Monday morning at 9 a.m. I did not get back home until Saturday morning at 2 a.m., right?
My
And so
God.
I was gone for almost 6 days. Now, during that whole time, I had 45 minutes on your stage. I had, multiple other events, but when you added it all up, there was about 10 hours where I actually needed to do something. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It was about 10 hours, but I had to leave my house for 6 days to accomplish those 10 hours. And
Bro.
so we are in the process right now of looking at an 800% elite auto jet so that we can
Oh.
start. I want to be home for breakfast and dinner as often as humanly
Oh.
possible. And the only way to do that is for us to make an investment in a jet that's going to be able to get me where I need to go when I need to get there and be able to
Oh
get
my
me back
God.
home where I need to be when I need to get there. So that's
Yeah.
what I showed you with a picture of a bad boy,
He
a
showed me.
citation.
He showed me a picture of a jet. We're backstage. We're talking. He's like, dude, I lost 6 days because of this and that, because of 10 hours of investment. But what if I could gain at least 5 of those days of my life back and use them for something else? And he's like, show me a picture of a badass jet. Here, he's got the plan. He's got the where he's gonna leave it at. He's got the whole thing set. I was like, oh my God. And now after hearing your story about Grant, I'll make sure to position myself in a room where you're talking about going somewhere on your private jet. I'll be like, hey, I'm going in that direction too, by the way.
That's right. That's right. That's the way to do it. That's the way to do
We
it.
got to keep our ears open. We got to keep, hey, remember
That's
when
right.
you said you were going that way? I'm going that way too. You know?
That's right. That's
But
right.
yo, Glenn, I know you have stuff to do, man. I definitely don't want to take a lot of your time here because I know you're busy, man. Uh, what kind of closing remarks do you have for people, man? First of all, the Morning Five book is amazing. Whoever hasn't read it, it's such a feel good fucking book. When I finished the book, I wanted to send you a text and tell you I love you because at the end of the book, you pretty much say, grab your phone, text somebody something amazing today, tell them they're
Right.
amazing, tell them this and that. I'm like, I don't want to be a fucking weirdo, but I do that by posting things. This guy was amazing on my stage, this and that. So I do it a little bit differently, but
Sure.
it's just such a feel good book, man. Like, how'd you come up with these five steps? Just so we can kind of wrap it up here today. And for those that haven't read that book or heard that book, hit the DM. I got you. I'll send you a copy. But it's just such a feel good fucking book, man. Like every time I listen to it, it just makes me feel so fucking great inside. Just such a um, it's
Yeah,
filled with
man.
great values, man. Like, how'd you come up with these 5 steps?
Yeah, I just, studied successful people, right? And when you study successful people, you find that all successful people have one thing in common, and that's that they have a powerful morning routine. Now, it
Oh,
doesn't matter what time their morning routine is. Like Beyonce might not get up till 2 o'clock in the afternoon, but that first hour, hour and a half, that's Beyonce's hour, an hour and a half. Ain't nobody getting into that space, right? And
love it.
so I found that all successful people have a powerful morning routine. And so I just started implementing different pieces of different people's morning routines until I found one that clicked for me, and then ultimately started teaching it. And now it's clicked for millions of people all around the world, which has been incredible. But ultimately, man, like I tried all this stuff. I did like the cold shower, like Tony Robbins is all about. Take a cold shower every day. Bro, I am a tropical being. I do not find any benefit whatsoever from the cold shower. Now I'll do an ice plunge. I can do an ice plunge, but a cold
Plunge.
shower before I go out into the day, not happening. Not for me, right? I tried all these different things, but ultimately I figured out for me 5 simple steps. Never hit the snooze button. Don't get on your phone first thing in the morning. Write down your gratitude and goals every single day. Take care of the physical, some type of exercise, and the object in motion tends to stay in motion. And once you're
Love it.
done with those 4 things, send out an encouraging message, man. So those 5 steps, I do them every single day, and bro, it's completely transformed my life over the last decade.
And that's the armor. That example you gave, that's the armor of somebody that does that versus somebody that doesn't. Is more likely for shit to impact them versus somebody that did all those 5 steps. You go out there with this fucking armor over you that nothing can fucking phase you, and your fucking go 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 mentality versus people that don't do it. They wake up and they're in a bad fucking mood. They saw the wrong tags. They're already impacted, and they go into the world trying to change their life. When in reality, they're just gonna be in a bad mood all fucking day, and it's just amazing, man. I love that. Um, bro. Any closing remarks, my guy? I mean, we could be here for fucking days, bro.
Yeah, I
Any
know. I
closing
gotta
remarks
go.
for
I gotta
anybody
go.
out there, man? Anything you wanna add? I'm just excited, that you gave me the opportunity to be in this live, man. Like I said, I don't really go live that much and do these things, but
Yeah.
man, we had such an impactful conversation. I love the book, everything about it. I'm like, I'm going live with my guy Glenn. God damn it,
That's right.
there's something about people, and like you were saying, we're talking about realness and something that catches your attention, and I feel the same way. I am the same way. I will not put in an investment unless I feel like it gives you some return, emotionally, something out there, right? Like people watching this live right now, they're probably getting a lot of value from it. They're gonna get the book. Like we're impacting so many people without even knowing it, and just that in itself just brings you much more opportunity and abundance. But like, what kind of closing remarks do you want to leave our people with today, man? I know, like I said, we could keep this thing going on forever, but you got shit to do.
Yeah, I gotta rock out, man. Just ultimately to everybody, I'll say something to you that Grant Cardone once said to me. He said, "Whatever it is that you see in me exists in you. If it didn't
Woo!
exist in you, you wouldn't be able to see it." So if in any way anything that I said inspired you or motivated you or you hit a chord with you, just know that's because what you see in me exists in you. So get after it and go be great.
Oh my God, that's fucking beautiful. God damn, Glenn. Holy shit, man.
All right, man.
Amazing,
I love you,
amazing, bro.
brother.
Like, thank you so much for taking the time. I know we will meet again at some point.
Oh yeah,
Maybe I'll ask you for a ride once you get your jet. Like, oh, I'm going there too. Glenn, hey, what's up? But
we'll
thank
do
you
it.
so much, man, for taking the time. This is definitely one of the best lives I've ever gone on myself.
Oh, thank you.
Looking forward to seeing your growth. Looking forward to seeing that badass design, because I know you're gonna pimp out your plane with that
Oh, it's gonna be dope.
800% logo on the side. So looking forward to
All
that, my
right, man.
friend.
I'll see you.
Stay blessed, bro. I really appreciate you, man. Much
Too.
love.
You
Thank you
bet.
so much. Oh my God. Holy fucking God. I don't even know. Woo! My guy is fucking something else, ain't he? Like, goddamn. Rodrigo's sitting in the other room right now. Goddamn. I know people have some questions during the live. Sorry, man, I couldn't really dive into those. We're going. I really appreciate you guys jumping in, man. For those that just barely made the live towards the end, I'm going to post it right now. Definitely go back and check it out again. If you haven't read the Morning Five book by Glenn Lundy, like, send me a DM. If you're one of my subscribers, I got you. I'll send you that shit right now. Why do I want you to be one of my subscribers? I mean, honestly, I don't really care about the $4 a month that thing charges. But what I want to do is be able to give you so much more. But you have to want it, okay? People that just get shit without really wanting it don't value shit, okay? So I really appreciate you guys. Subscribe to my IG. I'll send you the copy of the book right now. We gave away 2 free courtside tickets to the Suns. Like, we have so many amazing things. Thank you all that participated today. You guys are awesome. Thank you so much. Everybody on here. NG at the lake. Thank you so much for all your comments and your love, your best wishes. I'm gonna try and go live here with amazing people. This is only the beginning, guys. Get ready. My God, I don't even know what to say. I'm in shock. This live was amazing. I look forward to you guys listening to that book as well. Stay blessed. We'll be in touch soon.